Dear student, today I am going to discuss the very important chapter polynomials. Polynomial, it is very important part of your mathematics, and in this chapter we shall discuss what is polynomial. But before starting the discussion related with this important topic, this is my request to all of you, you like my videos as well as subscribe my channel so that I shall be motivated and I will collect the important questions for you for your benefits to extract the maximum number of marks in the forthcoming examination, not only in the forthcoming examination, in future also. Whenever you will go to appear in the competitive examination, that will help you. My topic will help you, my questions will help you. My important suggestions also will help you to get success in your competitive examination. Dear student, first of all, let me start it from the polynomial. Actually, polynomial, that is to be generally denoted by px. As per that, polynomial is denoted by polynomial is denoted by px. In what variable? In variable x. That is why it is polynomial. And you can write the different types of polynomial as I will discuss over here. First of all, linear polynomial. But before starting the types of the polynomial, let me take the degree of the polynomial, because it is important. Then only you will understand what type of polynomial is there. The degree of the polynomial. First thing, degree of polynomial. What does it mean? What is the degree? Let me take the example. Automatically you will understand the definition of the degree of the polynomial. You will see the power of the variable that I have mentioned over here, x that is variable. There may be variable y also, there may be z, s, t, whatever it may be, but that should be given in the polynomial. That is why you see I am going to take the degree of the polynomial. Let me take the example px. Let px is equal to x minus 1. Tell me power of x. Power of x is 1. There is no other x, only one x is given over here. This is the polynomial. In what variable? X is here. Its power is 1, that is why this is the highest power of it. Its degree is 1. The highest power, see the highest power is 1. So it is degree of px. It is the degree of px. Similarly, you can take the other examples and you will have to check the power of x. And that highest power you take only, not the lowest power. I will discuss some more examples. Okay? That is why you can write the definition of the degree of the polynomial. The highest power of the polynomial is known as the degree. The highest power of the polynomial. Highest power of the polynomial is called degree. Then, as per the power of the polynomial, we will classify the different types of polynomials. And first type of polynomial is linear polynomial. Let me take the definition of the linear polynomial. Linear polynomial, number one, linear polynomial. Generally, the question for 1 mark may be asked related with the linear polynomial. Actually, this is a linear polynomial. Its power is 1. If the highest power of the polynomial is 1, that will be the linear polynomial. If the highest power or the power, highest power of the polynomial is 1, then it is linear polynomial. It is said a linear polynomial. Linear polynomial. That is why it is a linear polynomial, because its degree is 1. Its degree is 1. Okay? Degree is 1, that is why it is the example of linear polynomial. You also can write. Then what will be the standard form of linear polynomial? Standard form. Because that will also be required. Standard form of it. You must have to keep in mind. I will write over here the standard form. Let me take either you write this way or px may be equal to ax plus b. But condition is there. A does not equal to b. That is the standard form. In place of x, you can take any number that depends upon you. Any real number. That is why I am going to write where a does not equal to 0. Otherwise, it will not be the linear polynomial. Where a, b are real numbers. Real numbers. That is why see carefully. If a is equal to 0, it will not be a real polynomial. Okay? That is why you must have to keep in mind the example or the standard form of linear polynomial, where a and b, in place of a you can write 2, in place of b you can write 1, 2x plus 1, that is a linear polynomial. You write the different values in place of a and b. Not only this thing, you write here in place of a 3, 3 is the real number. You write here minus 1. In place of a you write 1, in place of b you write minus 1. X minus 1, that is a linear polynomial. I think you understand. Different examples I have given over here. Let me take the quadratic polynomial. Because today I will tell you first of all the different types of polynomial, so that you will be familiar with the different types of polynomial, and after that we will discuss the roots or the zeros of the polynomials. See here. Let me take the quadratic polynomial here. Quadratic polynomial. Number 2. Quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial. Naturally, automatically it is clear by the definition. What will be the quadratic polynomial? If the highest power, how much? 2. Let me take the example of the quadratic polynomial, so that you will understand. Px will be equal to 2x square minus 3, or x square minus 3x, or plus 4. Suppose tell me what is the highest power of x? 2. It is 1, here it is 2. It is quadratic polynomial. How? The highest power of x is 2. So, degree of this polynomial, degree is 2. That is why it is a quadratic polynomial. or its standard form. What will be standard form? Ax square plus bx plus c will be equal to 0. But condition is there. You see, a should not be equal to 0. If it is 0, if you want to write it, you can write, otherwise you write ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, where a does not equal to 0. Otherwise it will not be, because if it is 0, it will become 0, it will not be a quadratic equation. Then it will become a linear equation. That is why see carefully. But condition is there. A, the value of A, B and C. That should be a real number. That should be a real number. You can write this thing where A, B, C will be the real number. You can write here. A, B, C will be the real number. Now I will take the example of the cubic polynomial. Cubic polynomial, third case, cubic polynomial. Let me take the cubic polynomial. Now, cubic automatically actually is clear from the word number 3, cubic polynomial. Cubic polynomial. You can take any example that depends on you. Suppose, let me take that Ex is equal to any example of the cubic polynomial. Let me take x to the power 3 minus a. Not only this thing, you can take in that form also. Ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. You can take in this form. A may be equal to 2 x to the power 3 minus, in place of b, minus 3 bx square, in place of c, 5 plus 5x, and in place of d, 1. That will be the polynomial. But the highest power of x is, here it is 1 power, 2 power, 3 power. Highest power is 3. The highest power of this polynomial, highest power of this polynomial is 3. So degree is 3. So degree is 3. Degree of Px is 3. Degree of this polynomial is 3 because it is a cubic polynomial. That is why a polynomial whose degree is 3, it will be a cubic polynomial. You can write the definition, and that is very, very important. You must have to keep in mind. But here you must have to write where a, comma, b, comma, c, comma, d are real numbers. That is very important to write. Real numbers. And real numbers is whatever the number you want to take, you can take. But that should be the real number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be, or negative number, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Or 1 by 2, 1 by 3, whatever it may be, in the rational form. Whatever the number you want to take in place of A, B, C, you can take. But that should be real. That it will be the polynomial. But my dear student, generally the question asked in the CBSE examination for 1 mark and 2 mark. That may be given. I am telling you the general knowledge type question. You see, I am taking Px is equal to root x plus 1. Whether it is a polynomial or not. My dear student, it is not a polynomial. Why it is not a polynomial? Because the power of the variable should not be in the root form. That is why it is not a polynomial. It is root form. Power is rational form. The power is a rational number. Root form. It is not a polynomial. You must have to do. Another question for 1 mark that is arise, which is also important. That is why it is not a polynomial. It is not a polynomial. One more thing I am telling you, which may not be the polynomial, is equal to 1 upon x. 1 upon x is not a polynomial. Why it is not a polynomial? Is not a polynomial. Because the variable does not lie in the denominator. does not lie in the denominator. That is why I am telling you the important questions which generally asked in the examination. And the student, they are not familiar with such a type of questions related with the polynomial. That is why they get failed to give the answer of such questions. That is why you must have to keep in mind, if in the denominator variable lie, then it will not be a polynomial. Okay? Let me, the very important question won't depend upon, I will explain that question algebraically as well as graphically. In both the cases, I will find the zeros of the polynomial. First of all, I will take the linear polynomial. Example I have given, it is given here. Here student will see, find the zeros of the polynomial. See, zeros of the polynomial, that is a very important, and I already discussed regarding the real numbers. You must have to keep in mind real number is sum of rational and irrational number. That will be the real number, and you must have to keep in mind. I am going to take the example question. Find the zeros means in linear polynomial there will be 1 zero. In the quadratic polynomial there will be 2 zeros. In the cubic polynomial there will be 3 zeros. How it is possible? I will tell you. Find the zeros of the polynomial. It is very important, and generally the student does not. Do not concentrate over here. That is, they are lacking behind to understand the zero. What is this zero? If polynomial is linear polynomial, there will be only 1 zero of polynomial. Okay, let me take, this is a polynomial. Okay, dear student, first of all, trial and error method I am just going to apply. Let me find out. If x is equal to 2, see, in place of x, I am going to write first case p at this one. You take at x is equal to 2, p2 will 2 minus 1. 2 is not a zero of this polynomial, because 2 will be the zero of this polynomial if the value of p2 should be equal to 0. Then we are getting 1, it is not a 0. Okay, you can take 3. Second case, trial and error. At x is equal to 3, you take p3. p3 in place of x you write 3. 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. That is why 3 is also not a zero of this polynomial. Then, what will happen? Third case, dear student, you see the third case, at x is equal to 1. In place of x, you write 1, it will equal to 1 minus 1 is equal to 1. Yes, 1 is the zero of this linear polynomial. And I told you, in the linear polynomial, there will be only 1 zero. Okay? That is why you must have to keep in mind, 1 is the zero of this polynomial. 1 is the zero of the polynomial. What polynomial? Px will be equal to x minus polynomial x minus. And 1 is the real number. One more thing I am going to tell you that is very important, which you must understand. If 1, after giving note, because it is important, if 1 is the zero of the polynomial. What polynomial? Px means this one, or x minus 1. You can write x minus 1 because it is a polynomial. Okay? Then what will happen? P1 must be 0. I think you understand. P1 must be 0 because I will apply this thing frequently. And let me try to give you the standard definition of it. Zeros. Okay, let me take this thing, which is very important and you will use frequently. to find out the solution of the question. See, example. If k is a real number, k is a real number, is a real number, and it is a zero of the polynomial. What polynomial? Polynomial. I am taking the standard form of it. Px will be equal to ax plus b, where a does not equal to. If k is a real number and it is a zero of this polynomial, if it is zero, then what will happen? Then you must have to write pk should be equal to 0. If k is the zero of this polynomial, then pk must be equal to 0. But what is that 0? In this standard form, okay, using, see my dear student, see, because px replace x by k, replace x by k, k will be equal to ak plus b. I told you if k is the zero of this polynomial, then pk must be equal to 0. Then ak plus b. ak you take from right side to left side, minus ak is equal to b, okay, and then a will be equal to minus b by a, minus b by a, that is the 0, minus b by a is the 0 of this polynomial, okay, minus a by a. If in place of k is here, if in place of k you will write minus b upon a, then its value become 0. That is why minus b upon a, that will be the 0 of this polynomial k. Okay, let me take graphical method to find out the 0. Generally the question, graphical questions gives in the examination and ask find the number of zeros for 1 or 2 marks, and definitely such question may be asked now in the CBSE examination. That is why my dear student, let me take the polynomial, linear polynomial, which just before I had discussed with you algebraically. Let me take the graph of it. Graphical method. Same example I am taking. Find the zeros of px is equal to x by that I have. Px graphical. Find zeros of this polynomial graphically. Each and every weapon I am just providing you so that whenever it will be required, you can apply it. Weapon means definitions and formulas. Okay? In place of px means y. Px means y. Let px is equal to y is equal to x. That means you got the equation x minus. This is the equation. And similarly, while you are going to draw the graph, you must know the table. Table you will have to know. And let me see the graph of it. See carefully the graph, because I am going to tell you the very important thing to relate it with the zeros of the polynomial. This will be the origin. It will be 1 and minus 1. 1 on x-axis, minus 1 on y-axis. Okay, let me take first. Similar kind of method I have discussed in the pair of linear equations chapter. Okay, you see, if x is equal to 0, you put here, then y will be equal to 0 minus 1 is minus 1. If it is 0, y is minus 1. Very simple. Second case we take if x is equal to 1. In place of x, you write 1. Then y will be equal to 1 minus 1 is 0. If it is 1, it will be 0. Very simple. Okay, let me draw the graph. X is 0, y is minus 1. It will lie here. 0 and minus 1. This is the point. You see. This is the point I mentioned over here. X is equal to 1 and y is 0. This is the point. This is the 1 and 0. You join both things and produce it. This is the graph of this linear equation. Y is equal to x minus 1. This is the graph. My dear student, you tell me at how many points this graph intersect x-axis? At only 1 point. At only 1 point. That is why the number of zeros of this polynomial x minus 1, there will be 1. And what will be the zero? The point at which this graph intersecting the x-axis. That is why x-axis, tell me the value. Only you will have to take the x coordinate in the x-axis. Okay? X is equal to 1. X is equal to 1 because at this point intersecting the x-axis at this point. X is equal to 1 is the zero of this linear polynomial. Mathematically, I tell you there is 1 zero of the polynomial x minus 1, that is 1. Graphically also I discuss there will be, because this linear polynomial graph intersect the x-axis at 1 only, that is why it is its 0. Okay, let me take one more example and you will have to collect some questions and you will find out the solution of the question, because I will discuss some more questions in the next video, but I want to tell you one graph. Suppose this is the graph generally asked in the examination in different ways. This is x-axis, y-axis. I am going to draw the graph. Suppose, dear student, this is the graph. Graph of what? Fx. Fx of px. This is a graph of px is equal to y. Sometimes it may be given fx. Fx, that is also same thing. In competitive examination, it may not be given px. It may be given fx. Fx, px, that is same thing. That is y. Okay? You tell me this graph intersects the x-axis at how many points? Let me give minus 1 and 0. It is what? 1 and 0. And suppose it is 2 and 0. It is not essential that these points will be mentioned on the graph. Sometimes it may ask, tell me how many zeros are there? How many zeros will exist this function? This linear or this is polynomial? Because graph intersecting the x-axis at 1, 2, 3 points. Definitely it will be a cubic polynomial. Because this graph intersecting the x-axis at 3 points, that is why there will be 3 zeros of this polynomial. Automatically you can tell that will be definitely a cubic polynomial. Okay, I think you understand. If it is given, if the coordinates are mentioned over here, you can find out easily what will be these zeros. X is equal to minus 1, that is 1 zero of the polynomial. Secondly, x is equal to 1, that will be the second coordinate, second zeros of this polynomial. Third, x is equal to 2, that will be the third zeros of the polynomial. Then what will be the zeros? Actually, minus 1, 1 and 2. 3 zeros are there of this polynomial. Definitely, it will be a cubic polynomial. My dear student, you understand, I think, whatever the concepts related with the polynomial I have given to you, that you understand and practice the number of questions. Similarly, I will provide you some more questions in my next video, so that you will be benefited and this topic will be clear to all of you. But it is my sincere request to all of you like my videos as well as subscribe the channel, so that I shall be motivated. Encouragement is required. Encouragement means I am encouraging you so that you will do better in your examination which is going on. In the similar way, I also be required the motivation, because being the human being, each and every one human being require the motivation, so that we can do more and more work. That is why if you want the success in your life, then don't become lazy. Make your time management properly. Rise up early in the morning at 4 and study. You see, The student who study in the morning, that is to fix in the mind, it is very difficult to forget. Because there is the ratio, once you remember the things, once you study, there is a ratio of 80 and 20. After some days, 5-6 days, 80% will be removed, 20% will be with you. And if you are going to practice time and again, it will be fixed 100% in your mind, and you will not forget the things. But what is the condition when you will not forget? Practice make it perfect. You generate the number of questions. Collect the number of questions from the different sample papers. Similar kind of questions. Make the practice. Automatically you will become perfect. Okay, thank you.